Hey, here are 5 stupid things I've noticed about that holiday classic, It's a Wonderful Life. It used to be inescapable. There was a time, not so long ago, when you could hardly hurl the TV remote control across the room in anger during Christmas dinner without turning to a random channel that just so happened to be showing It's a Wonderful Life. This was because in 1974 the film's copyright was not properly renewed, and local TV stations found that they could air the movie during the holidays for relatively little cost, which they did ad nauseum. It was aired so often that many folks, including myself for quite some time, came to resent the movie. Then, in 1993, Republic Pictures went to court to enforce its lapsed copyright, and they won, and then Republic was bought out by Paramount, and nowadays NBC has the rights to show It's a Wonderful Life, which they do on Christmas Eve, and that's really about it. And I'm okay with that. It was originally much more religious. Here's a little known fact about this movie. As initially scripted, the ending didn't depict George Bailey's friends and family coming together and raising the funds needed to save the building and loan. Instead, the final scene was of a humbled George Bailey dropping to his knees and reciting the Lord's Prayer. In an interview from around the time of the film's original release, director Frank Capra said that he made it in part as a response to what he saw as a rising tide of atheism in the United States in the 40s. Yeah, I guess you had to be there. But can you imagine It's a Wonderful Life ending that way? Would have seemed pretty weird if you ask me. Though not as weird as this. It was suspected of being communist propaganda. An FBI memo from 1947 describes It's a Wonderful Life as attempting to discredit bankers through the character of Mr. Potter, the richest man in town who spends most of the film scheming to destroy George and his family business. This, the memo explains, is a common trick of communist propagandists. And I think it's just typical of that pinko Frank Capra. I mean, if you take one glance at the guy's filmography, there's this movie, there's Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, the Why We Fight series, it becomes painfully obvious that the guy just hated capitalism and democracy and America in general and was hoping through his work to provoke a revolution. A schmaltzy cornball revolution. But if that was Capra's plan for It's a Wonderful Life, there was just one problem. It was a box office failure. It's a Wonderful Life failed to break even at the box office. It was also met with mostly negative reviews from critics who called it sentimental, simplistic, and unrealistic. All of which, I have to say, strike me as fair criticisms, particularly the last one. Everybody knows galaxies don't talk. By the way, do you know which movie finished one spot behind It's a Wonderful Life on that year's list of box office grosses? It was another classic Christmas movie, and my personal favorite, actually, Miracle on 34th Street. Yeah. Of course, the disappointing box office performance of It's a Wonderful Life didn't end up meaning all that much in the long run, as decades later it would come to be revered as one of the great American films. A one-of-a-kind film, in fact, in the eyes of many, which is why it might be a little upsetting to know that it almost had a sequel. Yeah, you might have heard about this one a couple of years ago. A production company announced that it was planning a sequel titled It's a Wonderful Life, The Rest of the Story, which would focus on the grandson of George Bailey from the original film. There was just one problem with that. The production company didn't have the rights to make a sequel to It's a Wonderful Life, and Paramount threatened to sue them to stop such a film from being made. Actually, that wasn't the only problem. There was also the problem of what a fucking terrible idea it was. It was such a terrible idea, in fact, that many people simply refused to believe that it was actually happening, and that this must have been some kind of a prank. People, have the films of the asylum taught us nothing? There is no such thing as too dumb in the movie business. But fortunately for admirers of It's a Wonderful Life, there is such a thing as too illegal. The hardest part is only picking 5. Catch you next time. Teacher says every time a Kevin MacLeod song plays, a YouTuber gains a subscriber. Oh boy, how I wish that were true. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. If you did, please like it and share it and subscribe to this channel if you're not subbed already. And also, please consider helping me to make more videos like this one by supporting this channel through Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/Steve Shives to become a patron. Thanks for watching, everybody.